So hey guys, welcome to part 2 of the mini engine service. So the plan of attack for today is to finish up as much as we can on the engine. So first and foremost, we're gonna be putting back most of the front accessories here. I'm also gonna drain the engine oil, change the oil filter, change out the spark plugs with new ones that I got, and hopefully like this engine will be more or less complete by the end of the video. So the next order of business is actually changing out the oil. Now I will put the camera down there so you can see, but the drain plug has been leaking, so probably wasn't replaced the last time. So I got a new one, OEM from BMW, and we're gonna go and get rid of all the old oil because what has been dripping has been pretty black. Now, what I didn't show you yet, so in this bucket here, you'll see there's already a little bit of oil. Now this is the supercharger oil, which normally should be a clear color, but it's kind of blackish, so I'm very happy that I replaced that. So now we're gonna fill the rest of this bucket up with the engine oil and then look in the oil filter and see what we can find, if it's fine, if the engine is, hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't find anything metallic or something in there. But yeah, we're gonna just drain the oil and find out, I guess. Looks pretty nasty, guys. It's like literally black, and like the nut was over tightened, the bolt, the drain plug, so this is gonna be this is not gonna be good. So if you go on top of the engine, this right here is actually oil filter housing, so you need a 36mm to loosen it up, and then the filter is inside there, and that's Amy's finger. So guys, this is actually just my luck, because I borrowed this to loosen up the oil filter, but there's actually not enough room to get it on, so I'm gonna have to get some other type of socket, or maybe just a wrench to get this off. So we're gonna revisit that once I have this wrench, but we can go forward with some of the other jobs that need to be doing. For example, I think I'm gonna be doing the timing chain tensioner next. So I may have told you guys this earlier in some video, but when the car starts, we have like this rattling noise coming from the engine, and that's actually a clear indicator that your timing chain tensioner is actually going out. So we're on the passenger side here, and the timing chain tensioner is actually behind that bolt right there, so that little rusty one. So normally you need to take off this oil cooler, but normally I think I can get just a rat and just get some one of my wrenches on there to loosen it up, and I got a new OEM tensioner ready to go in. So let's try and get that bolt out. After a lot of work and a lot of finicking and finagling later, we got it out. So this is actually, so this nut keeps it in place, but this is actually the tensioner. So this part only compresses. There's a spring in there as well. So this is the part that we'll be replacing with a brand new one, and hopefully that will fix our timing chain rattle issue. So for all you guys who were wondering how I did it, beware of this job. You will need to loosen up. So the oil cooler is loose, so that I could get a wrench on the block. So remove the oil cooler, catch all the oil that is actually coming from the oil filter, and then get it out, and now we're gonna get the new one back in. So after that job, so the tensioner, so this tensioner is actually the worst job that I have to do on this car, so I'm really happy to have it behind me. But next up, I'm thinking I'm going to change the spark plugs, and I would love to end today, so it will not be the end of the video, but I want to end today with the new intercooler in its position, and with the new intercooler boots. So let's try and do that. There we go. So this one actually doesn't look too bad. So after checking all 4 spark plugs, they all were the same as the first one, which is a really good sign. That means that the engine is probably just burning as it should. So now we got the 4 new NGK ones in there, which will just give me a peace of mind that the engine will be healthy. But now I want to look and see if I can fit up the new intercooler to finish up the day. So let's try and do that. Now, if you're changing your spark plugs, guys, do not over tighten them. If they're snug, it's more than enough, because if you over tighten them, you might damage your block or might actually just strip your spark plug. So just be gentle with it, don't over tighten it, and your engine will be running fine. Oh yeah, also something that I noticed is, if you look underneath here, this is actually broken, so we'll need to fix that. So guys, so this intercooler is actually the Airtec intercooler, so it's really gonna be, I'm really looking forward to put this on the car. It has a nice air diverter, it will cool down the air a lot better than the OEM one, and because my OEM intercooler is kind of bunk, this one is gonna look so much better. Just look at this. Look at this nice piece. This is so I'm actually gonna be picking up the rest of this install of the intercooler later, but just look at it, you guys. This Airtec intercooler looks so amazing. It's got all the air diverts to get the air into the intercooler. It's not gonna go over because of this ridge, and then even in the middle you have this middle air divert, so that it will actually use both portions of the intercooler and not just the back, because it gets stops right here. It's gonna be really amazing. But I'm gonna pick this back up because we need to cut down these 2 tabs here so the intercooler can sit a bit lower, and then we're gonna have to mount it on this bolt and on that one. So man, this looks, just look at it, it's gonna be amazing. So it's gonna sit a bit lower, it's gonna make it easier to fit the snouts. Wow, this is amazing. But I'm gonna pick this up in a couple of days, and for you guys, you're lucky because it will only take a second. So guys, we're back. So before we start getting everything ready for the intercooler, I got myself a new socket to hopefully be able to remove the oil filter, because the last one did not really fit. So hopefully this fits, so that's awesome. So we're gonna try and remove the oil filter and check out if the filter is clean or if there's something, hopefully there's nothing metallic in there. Then after that, I also got news on this little boy. Now, company I bought it from says that they never give you anything to clamp this off, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut the pipe in 2 and put the original like bleed valve in here. I got a new like screw on order to get it nice, because yeah, they rounded out the older one. But before we do that, let's check out the oil filter. So guys, I'm lucky, it's a Bosch filter, so it's a quality one. But and if we look inside of everything, there's nothing metallic in between, so the filter looks to be in really good shape. So that means that the engine inside should be healthy. So I'm really excited about this, but it did mangle it. So what we're going to be doing now is going to get the new filter, replace the O-ring that's on the housing, put some fresh oil on it, and then put it back at the correct specs, because this is just, I don't know who tightened this, but I think they tightened it down with like a crowbar of 5 meters or something. I really needed to smack into my wrench to get it loose. So please, if you put an oil filter on, just put it on tight, snug, but don't like put like a lot of force on it, because then yeah, you have a hard time getting it back off. So guys, before I button up this front section and put the radiators back on, because now we have hose clamps, so we have a bleed valve in here, everything else is back together except for the intake, but I needed to fix some things, something about it, so that's just gonna stay the way it is. But before I did anything further, I wanted to get this intercooler situated. Now with this lighting, because it's very bright, you can't really see the black intercooler, but that's pretty fun. So this is an Airtec intercooler, and as you can see, at the moment it's not really lining up, and that's because it's hitting on this, but that is because the intercooler actually needs to slide a bit more forward. Now to do that, you need to modify your intake a bit. So if I just get this one out of the way for a second. So the reason it sits like that is because behind these little mounting points, for the old one, if I can focus, you have this corner to reinforce it. So we actually need to get rid of this little corner, because then the intercooler can sit flush against this. So that like 5 millimeters will give us the space we need. So we need to do it for this side, and we needed to do it for this one as well. This one can just stay as it is. So guys, so as you can see right now, so we got this corner and this corner out. So now let's try and fit the intercooler again. So the intercooler is now temporarily mounted. Now the thing is, with moving it forward and everything, it did get better, but it's not really perfect, and that's because, in my case at least, the intercooler is hitting on like the ventilation, the ventilation of the rocker cover, which is of the valve cover, which could be a bit of an issue, but as it's just sitting on there, I don't know if you guys can see, so like it's hitting right there, and because the mounts are gonna be pretty sturdy, so it's actually, the way it mounts is just from the mounting point right here. I can focus a bit. So the way it mounts is just so it has this mounting point with a little arm to this point, and with a little arm from that mounting point to here. So it's actually using like OEM points, which is good because there's no need to drill anything. Now for this, I am normally, this sensor is somewhere here, so maybe I'll put it back there with a little, yeah, I'm just thinking on how I'm gonna fix this, or maybe I'll zip tie it up anywhere. But yeah guys, this is the view that we're gonna be getting, so gotta say it looks pretty good. So maybe we'll do a hood check with the hood closed and see what it says. I just brightened this up, but as you can see, So that's the top of the intercooler. So this is the hood scoop. You have the top of the intercooler. It's like nicely closed off all the way around. Like, and this is then the front side. So here the air will come in, hit this air duct. It's just really nice across the whole hood. So I'm really happy how that fits. So now I think the next step is actually to get hood open again and start assembling like where the radiators used to go. Also got, as you guys know, once we like disassembled the car, this arm was like fully damaged, and like it had dents in it and everything because of the accident. But I got a replacement one second hand, got them painted just some matte black to look good and to maybe stop them from rusting. So we clean them up and giving a bit of paint. So with them ready, it's time to get this all assembled. So guys, it's update time. So we got the front fully bolted back in. I got the hood closed and aligned everything nicely. So normally the bumper should sit a lot more even than it did before, because before it was like there was like a large gap on this side and not on the other. Then I also got the base of this box back in. As you maybe can see, I needed to fix a few things here. It was pretty cracked and such, so I just glued it together for when we eventually maybe go for cold air intake on something. But actually this air intake is not that bad, because it actually pulls air from here. So from here, actually from this roster, goes into here, and then actually just pulls it in right here. Now the only thing I can see as a restriction is actually the diameter of this back hole here. So that will be the most restriction, but actually if you think about it, that's the coldest air that your engine can get, because it's not actually getting heated from the exhaust, and it's perfectly back there. So if I ever get some type of a cold air intake, I'm gonna make sure that it uses this part to draw air from, so that it gets cold air, because cold air means more boost, and more boost with cold air means more power, and then this engine will probably go kaboom. But yeah, we'll see how far this engine gets, but it's got the best possible supporting stuff to get it being healthy, to get it to be healthy. So what I'm actually gonna do, because I was actually very fortunate in that regard that it already came, the car already came with this K&N like air filter, but as you guys can see, it has normal color and this is like the back, so we definitely need to clean it. So yeah, disregard, that's my dog's toy. I don't know where my dog went, but so I actually got this K&N recharge kit, so we're gonna be cleaning and re-oiling this air filter and then put it back on the car. So now guys, the time has come, so the front is on, so I'm gonna change out this valve right here because I have a new one, but then I want to get the intercooler installed. So we cleaned out the air filter, that's now drying, so now it's time to put this intercooler in. So I have new boots and it's gonna look pretty good, I guess. So let's get this intercooler in. So guys, it's on and it looks amazing. So we got the new silicone boots, got the new intercooler installed. Now the only thing I needed to do, so if you install this intercooler, because some engines lay higher or lower, you need to be careful once closing your bonnet. So what I had was this piece was actually more upright and was actually pushing on the other side of my hood scoop. So I just hit it with a hammer a few times and bend it down a bit, and now it's perfect. It fits perfect, everything is nicely sealed off when the hood's closed. So that means we get maximum air through this intercooler, and that's actually the main purpose. We need as much air as we can get through here to cool it all. And it's black, it's stealthy, I'm just really liking this piece. Now I do have to say, the silicone boots, to put that in, that's a pain in the ass. I'm just gonna say it, it's a pain in the ass, because you just have enough space barely to put in the boot. So yeah, it took some finagling, but I got it in finally. So yeah, this car is almost ready to get new coolant poured in and then get run further. But before we go there, before we try and bleed the coolant, we're still waiting on the air filter. I was thinking we should do the transmission and differential first, and maybe we can try to swap out the power steering fluid as much as we can and get some new fluid in there, and maybe hopefully the pump will then stop squealing like it wants to die. But this I'm very happy with. And look guys, just take a step back, take this in. This car is getting back together. I'm so hyped about this, so hyped. So for the transmission, if we go under here, get you guys situated. Maybe I'll flip the screen around so I can see what you guys are seeing, which is not a whole lot. What are we looking at? Alright, so there you can see it. So if you go on the transmission, so the front of the car is that way, then we have these two, so you have one here and you have one right up there somewhere. Where is it? And one here and one right there. So this is the drain plug, and then you have the fill plug up there. So the thing is, first loosen up your fill plug so you can refill the transmission, and once that's loose and popped out, then you can remove your drain plug and drain the fluid for a new one. So as to fill up my transmission, I have this little hand pumpy thing. So it's rated for fuel, so we're gonna put this in the reservoir, this in the fill hole, and fill it up until it starts dripping out of the fill hole. And we know that the transmission is full. And yeah, for fluid I'm using some Castrol transmission oil. It's not a limited slip in this car, so yeah, there's that. That will maybe be a future mod, but now let's just get some new oil in this transmission. The oil itself actually did not look that bad. So if we take a look at the transmission oil, it looks pretty dark, but yeah, I think this got changed not that long ago, not like the engine oil, which is black, deep black. So, but it was pretty clean coming out, but as you can see, it has some darkened coloring, so it was good that we're changing it. So let's get the new oil in there, and I'm just, yeah, because I can't film down there, it's just gonna be in the car. You guys will have to trust me that I put some brand new transmission oil in the car. So transmission fluid is done. Now we can go and look to put back the coolant. So you actually have the two bleed nipples. So we have one that's now behind this intercooler that we put in, but we can still access it right here, so that's really nice. So that's the top one, and then we have one that's like right down there, that I showed you guys normally on top of the thermostat housing. That's a little 8mm bolt normally, and I got a 10mm on my, so that's not good. So this little 8mm. Normally this should drain by just putting fluid in it, and then once it's drained we just tighten it up. So guys, the next thing you're gonna see is the first start of the engine. So we put the heater in the interior on full blast to bleed the heater core, and then let the engine warm up so the thermostat opens. But I'm so happy, and just listen guys, because we have no more rattle on startup from the timing chain. So the chain tension is working, everything is perfect. Yeah.
Wat toedraaien? Ja, dat is een vlotte stralen, kijk. Dit? Ja, goed nieuws! I did a good job! Awesome! It runs! And it's bled!
Is that goed okay?
So guys, so that's where I'm gonna leave it for this week's video. Aaron was here to see the car run, and he saw that it was okay, so that I didn't blow up the engine. So I'm happy, the car does not leak. We got full bleeding of the coolant system. The only thing I'm still gonna do right now is like try and flush the steering rack a bit by just pulling everything out of the reservoir, putting new fluid in, cycling it left to right, and yeah, repeat that a couple of times. And then yeah, in the next video, what we're gonna be doing in the next video?
Putting on the brakes, petting the dog.
Yeah, petting little Bens. But we got some new pads and discs ready for the front, and we're also gonna be flushing the brake fluid and putting on some stainless steel brake lines while we're at it.
Yeah, no, okay.
He doesn't know nothing. He doesn't know what I ordered for this car. So.
No, I don't. It's all a surprise for me. I'm just here to drive it when it's ready, that's all.
Yeah.
I was too early, I'm gonna leave now.
Okay, bye.